Reuters just dropped a report that caught the entire automotive world off guard, and it involves a car that Elon Musk personally buried back in 2024. He stood in front of investors, called the idea pointless, and walked away from it as if it would never come up again. Yet according to 4 independent sources, Tesla has quietly started calling suppliers about a compact sport utility vehicle priced at roughly $25,000. The same project everyone assumed was dead is apparently being pulled out of the grave, dusted off, and pushed forward behind closed doors. And the timing of this move is what makes it so strange, because it lands at a moment when the company appears to be struggling more than it has in years. Consider what was happening around the same time these calls were being made. Tesla moved 358,000 vehicles in its most recent quarter, a number that fell short of every single analyst estimate on the board. That marks the 3rd year in a row that sales have slipped, a downward trend that would normally push a company toward caution rather than bold new launches. So the obvious question hangs in the air like smoke. Why revive a cheap car now, at the exact moment when the pressure is highest and the margins are thinnest? Something about this decision does not follow the usual playbook, and that is precisely what makes it worth watching. The vehicle itself tells part of the story. This compact sport utility vehicle measures 4.28 meters from bumper to bumper, which comes out to about 14 feet. To put that in perspective, the Model Y stretches to 4.79 meters, roughly 15.5 feet, making it about 20 inches longer than this newcomer. 20 inches might not sound like a dramatic difference on paper, but anyone who has ever tried to squeeze a large car into a tight American garage knows exactly how much those inches matter when the wall is right there in front of the bumper. Picture the standard 2-car garage found in millions of homes across the country. It runs about 20 feet deep, and a Model Y already swallows most of that space, forcing owners to inch forward carefully every single time they pull in. This smaller vehicle changes that daily ritual completely. Suddenly, there is room to breathe. Room to open the door without scraping the workbench. Room to walk around the front of the car without turning sideways. That kind of everyday comfort is easy to overlook on a spec sheet, but it becomes something you feel every morning and every evening for as long as you own the car. Yet shrinking the footprint does not mean shrinking the value, and that is where people tend to jump to the wrong conclusion. This is not a cramped little economy box designed to punish the driver for spending less. It sits in the same class as the redesigned Chevy Bolt, a genuine sport utility vehicle with real interior space and real capability. The smaller size is a feature, not a compromise, because it solves a problem that larger electric vehicles created in the first place, while keeping the practicality that made those larger models popular to begin with. The weight difference pushes that advantage even further. This vehicle tips the scales at around 1.5 metric tons, while the Model Y carries roughly 2 tons of mass everywhere it goes. That means about 500 fewer kilograms rolling down the road with every trip, every single day, for years on end. Less weight translates directly into less tire wear, less strain on the brakes, and lower energy use per mile traveled. These are not the flashy headline numbers that grab attention in a launch event, but they are exactly the kind of quiet savings that show up on the maintenance bill somewhere around 60,000 miles, right when the wallet needs a break the most. Understanding why this vehicle can be built so cheaply requires looking underneath the body panels at the way it is actually put together, and this is where the story takes a turn that surprises almost everyone. Sandy Munro, an engineer famous for tearing cars apart piece by piece to see how they are made, once pulled the rear section of a Model 3 completely apart. What he found was a tangled assembly of more than 120 separate pieces of metal, all welded, riveted, and glued together just to form one single rear structure. It was, in his own words, like a complicated set of building blocks, assembled by someone who did not particularly enjoy the task, with each connection representing another chance for something to go slightly wrong. Now walk onto the production line in Austin and look at that same rear section today. Instead of dozens of parts fighting to fit together, there is a single piece of metal, poured as molten liquid into a mold, cooled, and finished in under a second. Monroe refused to even call it a part when he saw it, choosing instead to describe it as a stone, because a single casting comes out identical every single time it is made. There is no drift between one unit and the next, no slight misalignment, no moment where a machine or a worker decides that close enough will have to do. Every one of them is the same. The consequences of that simplicity ripple outward in ways that directly affect the price on the window sticker. Fewer parts means fewer robots needed to weld them, fewer human hands required to bolt them together, and fewer opportunities for a tired worker on a long shift to make a mistake that ends up in your driveway. If Tesla manufactures 2 million of these vehicles in a single year, the math becomes staggering, eliminating something like 600 million individual physical failure points across the entire production line. That is not clever marketing language dressed up to sound impressive. That is raw money the company stops spending on scrapped parts and expensive rework, quarter after quarter after quarter. Here is the fear that hides behind all of this, the worry that gets whispered in dealership parking lots but rarely said out loud. If the entire rear of the car is one giant casting, then cracking it in even a minor fender bender sounds like a financial disaster waiting to happen. You would not simply swap out a small bent bracket the way you might on an older car. You would supposedly have to replace the whole massive chunk of metal, and that mental image is enough to make anyone hesitate before signing the paperwork. It seems like common sense that a single molded piece would cost a fortune to fix. Except the actual data tells a completely different story, and it comes from a source with no reason to make Tesla look good. Thatcham Research, an independent crash and insurance group based in the United Kingdom, spent 2 full years digging through real insurance claims to find out what these repairs genuinely cost in the real world. Their conclusion turned the fear on its head. Repairing the cast rear section on one of these vehicles runs about $2,700 cheaper than fixing the traditional welded rear end on an older Model 3. The repair everyone assumed would empty their bank account turned out to be one of the most affordable in the entire lineup. That finding forces a rethink of an assumption many buyers have carried for years: the belief that cheap construction and safe construction sit on opposite ends of a scale. In this case, they were never opposites at all. The single casting is faster to build, more consistent in quality, cheaper to manufacture, and less expensive to repair, all at the same time. The idea that low cost must mean fragility or danger was a story people told themselves, not a fact backed by the numbers. And when it comes to where the real savings on this $25,000 price tag are actually coming from, the manufacturing method is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. If the casting explains part of the price, the real answer lives inside the battery. And this is the piece that decides whether $25,000 is a genuine number or just another promise destined to slip away. In March of 2026, the United States Department of the Interior confirmed that Tesla had signed a deal worth $4.3 billion with LG Energy Solution. The purpose of that enormous agreement was to build a specific type of battery cell right here on American soil, inside a repurposed plant in Lansing, Michigan. The chemistry at the heart of that deal is what quietly changes everything about how affordable this vehicle can be. These are lithium iron phosphate cells, and the difference they make starts with what they leave out. Traditional electric vehicle batteries rely heavily on cobalt and nickel, two materials that are not only expensive, but also tangled up in complicated global politics that can send prices swinging without warning. Lithium iron phosphate swaps those troublesome ingredients for iron and phosphate instead. Iron happens to be one of the most abundant elements on the entire planet, sitting practically everywhere beneath our feet, which means the raw material is both cheap and reliably available in a way that cobalt and nickel simply are not. Break the cost down to the cell level, and the advantage becomes concrete rather than abstract. This chemistry lands at roughly $98 per kilowatt-hour, while the nickel-based alternatives hover somewhere between $112 and $120 for the same amount of storage. On a 50 kilowatt-hour pack, that gap adds up to real savings before a single bolt has even been tightened during assembly. Now, stretch that difference across 1 million vehicles rolling off the line, and Tesla finds itself sitting on close to $1 billion in raw material savings alone. Money that can quietly fund charging infrastructure without ever touching a bank loan. The savings, as significant as they are, might not even be the reason a buyer should care most about this chemistry. The bigger gift is what it does to the daily rhythm of owning the car. Lithium iron phosphate batteries can handle thousands of full charge cycles while suffering almost no meaningful degradation over time. What that means in practice is that an owner can plug in every single night, charge all the way to 100%, and simply stop worrying about it. There is no more treating the battery like a fragile hospital patient kept on a careful 80% diet to preserve its lifespan. That single shift removes a layer of low-level anxiety that many electric vehicle owners have quietly lived with for years. No more mental calendar of careful charging habits, no more second-guessing whether topping off to full will slowly wear the battery down. The car simply gets plugged in and forgotten about, the same way most people plug in a phone at night without giving it a second thought. That freedom, that absence of constant fussing, turns out to be worth just as much to everyday life as the dollars saved on the material itself. Then comes the final piece that makes the low price actually add up, and it involves the motor. By fitting this vehicle with a single motor instead of the dual-motor setup found in pricier models, Tesla trims another $8,000 from the cost of building it. That decision removes capability that most drivers, statistically speaking, will never actually use in their normal lives. Nobody is lining up to win drag races at a stoplight on the way to the grocery store, and stripping out that unused power is exactly the kind of practical trade that keeps the sticker price grounded in reality rather than fantasy. Cutting cost always means cutting something tangible, and this vehicle makes those sacrifices in plain sight rather than hiding them. The rear screen is gone entirely. The subwoofer has been removed, dropping the audio system down to 7 speakers. The vegan leather that lined the seats of pricier models has been swapped out for cloth. The door pockets, once softened with carpet lining, are now molded from hard plastic. Even the suspension system has been simplified, which is worth pausing on, because that last one is not a screen or a speaker, but an actual mechanical component, made less complex to save money. Yet, here is the twist that nobody saw coming when the list of cuts first appeared. Longtime members of the Tesla Motors Club, people who have spent real time driving both the expensive trim and the stripped-down version, report that the cloth seats are actually more comfortable than the leather ones they replaced. The aggressive vegan leather bolsters in the higher trims had a habit of digging into the hips during long highway drives, while the simpler cloth seats sit more gently against the body. A cheaper material somehow delivered a better experience for certain drivers, which is the opposite of what anyone expected from a cost-cutting decision. What matters just as much is the list of things that were left completely untouched. The crash structure remains fully intact. The battery protection stays exactly where it was. The airbags are all still present, and the vehicle carries the same top safety rating it had before any of these changes were made. Tesla did not build a weaker skeleton to hit a lower price. It removed the leather jacket, so to speak, while leaving the bones underneath precisely where they had always been, which keeps the reduced cost from ever compromising the safety of the person behind the wheel. Now, the conversation has to turn to something darker, because trusting Tesla on hardware promises comes with a painful history that older buyers in particular should remember. Back in 2019, the company sold a system called Hardware 3, and it sold that system with a bold guarantee attached. Full self-driving, they promised, would eventually arrive through software updates delivered right to the car. People believed it, and many of them paid as much as $15,000 for the privilege of owning that future capability before it existed. They updated their software faithfully, waiting patiently, year after year, for the promise to come true. The promise never came true. During the first quarter earnings call of 2026, Musk finally admitted out loud what many owners had quietly suspected for a long time. Hardware 3 simply could not achieve unsupervised full self-driving, not then and not ever, because the chip itself was never capable of it in the first place. Roughly 3 million owners who had been counting on that upgrade received a discount on a trade-in instead, a small consolation for a capability they had already paid for and would never actually get. For anyone who lived through that disappointment, walking into a new Tesla promise with their guard fully raised is a completely reasonable response. That betrayal is exactly why the next detail carries so much weight. On April 15th of 2026, Musk announced that the next-generation chip, called AI-5, had completed tape-out, the final step before it goes into fabrication. But in the very same breath, he clarified something far more important for anyone buying this car. The AI-4 chip, the one already installed in every new Tesla built today, and the same chip powering the robotaxi fleet currently running in Austin, is sufficient for full self-driving beyond human safety levels. The AI-5 is being reserved for humanoid robots and data centers, not for the car in your driveway, which means this affordable vehicle ships with hardware Musk himself has already called enough. That detail about the hardware being enough from day one leads straight into something a Tesla employee told Reuters, a comment that barely made the news but should have stopped people in their tracks. The new vehicle, according to that employee, is designed to be driverless while still offering a human-driven option. It is worth reading that slowly to catch the full meaning. This is not a robotaxi with a steering wheel bolted on as an awkward afterthought. It is a consumer car built from the very first sketch to work both ways, with a person behind the wheel today and without one whenever the software and the regulators finally catch up to each other. The implications of that dual design reach far beyond a clever engineering choice. A car bought in 2027 would keep receiving updates as the autonomous technology slowly matures around it, requiring no trade-in and no second purchase to unlock capabilities that did not exist on the day it was driven home. Think back across every car anyone has owned over the last 20 years. Each one of them was at its absolute peak the moment it rolled off the lot. And everything after that was a slow decline. More miles piling on, more wear accumulating, more value quietly draining away with each passing month. This vehicle proposes the exact reverse of that familiar pattern. The car owned in year 3 could genuinely be more capable than the same car picked up in year 1,